This second video in my series turns to Chapter 1, A Frightening Future Awaits, Unless. The chapter opens with a provocation. The algorithm is patient, the data plentiful, and the user unsuspecting. That framing establishes the book's central concern. Modern deceptive design does not always need a trick button. It can arise from data collection, inference, profiling, and personalized system response. The chapter gives us three scenarios. Jessica's slow typing, spelling errors, and search behavior generate a profile suggesting a learning difficulty. Harriet confronts a synthetic customer service avatar shaped around knowledge of her bereavement and family memory. Roberta pays more for a taxi after the system combines location, weather, battery, and situational vulnerability. The scenarios differ, but each connects data, inference, and behavioral influence. The deception sits not only in what appears on screen, but in why that particular screen appears for that user at that moment. The Jessica scenario shows how ordinary data points can become powerful once aggregated. A typo, a hesitation, or a search query might look trivial in isolation. Combined with behavioral analytics, those signals can generate a profile that the user, parent, or teacher may not see. The chapter's point is not merely that profiling can be useful or harmful. The point is that vulnerability becomes operational. Once the system can infer difficulty, insecurity, or even urgency, it can deploy a design that exploits the inferred state. Harriet's scenario adds affective manipulation. The synthetic agent appears transparent in one sense. The chat window discloses that the customer service agent is synthetic, yet the decisive manipulation lies elsewhere, in the hidden system that chooses what the avatar looks and sounds like. The design draws on bereavement and familial memory to soften resistance. Transparency at the surface does not reveal the deeper personalization that shaped the interaction. This is a recurring point throughout the book. Disclosure about one element rarely neutralizes architectural manipulation. Roberta's taxi scenario turns to situational vulnerability. Her location, weather, purchase history, low battery, and fear of walking home become part of a pricing and interface strategy. The manipulation does not require a false statement. The system can make one option appear prudent, urgent, or easiest. The user might have taken a taxi anyway. The legal and normative question asks whether she would have selected this taxi at this price without the personalized system pressure. Chapter 1 then turns to law's compartmentalization. Data protection law sees a data subject. Consumer protection sees a consumer. The AI Act sees an AI system. Platform law sees an online platform. The problem is that deceptive design often operates across these categories. A single event can involve personal data processing, profiling, automated decision making, consumer pressure, interface design, and commercial optimization. No single regime necessarily sees the entire chain. This chapter also explains how we reached this point. Behavioral economics shifted attention away from the rational actor and towards heuristics, biases, and choice architecture. Nudging moved from a public policy tool into a corporate optimization tool. At the same time, platforms competed for engagement and faced legal duties to obtain consent. The result was a race to the bottom in design. Make consent easy to obtain, make refusal harder, and reduce the user's opportunity for genuine reflection. So if data protection protects data subjects, and consumer law protects consumers, and the AI Act regulates AI systems, then what happens when the design doesn't appear in the user interface? What happens when the manipulation takes place in the system architecture? What happens when somebody's given a price dependent on that's solely dedicated or related to their vulnerability in a given moment, in a given situation? Or what happens when Somebody's profile reveals that they're susceptible or they're tired or they're stressed. Is it a data problem? Is it a consumer problem? Is it a platform problem? Or is it an AI problem? That is one of the questions of the book. So where is the deception actually if there's no button, banner, or visible trick that that appears to the user or more importantly to the regulator? The chapter also explains how we as a society and digital technologies reached this point. Behavioral economics shifted attention away from the rational actor and towards heuristics, biases, and choice architecture in decision making. Nudging moved from a public policy tool into a corporate optimization tool. At the same time, platforms competed for engagement and faced legal duties to obtain consent. The result was a race to the bottom in design. Make consent easy to obtain, make refusal harder, and reduce the user's opportunity for genuine reflection. Throughout the book, I use vignettes or little examples to help conceptualize some of the more complex understandings about system architecture that I try to convey in the text. And when you read these vignettes, I hope you can do 4 things. Try and figure out for yourself what data points generated the profile of the user. Which vulnerability did the system actually infer? How did the architecture manifest the intervention? And which legal regime, if any, actually sees the entirety or the whole event? If you can answer those 4 questions by yourself, then you're on your way to understanding what I mean by deceptive design. The book's terminology also matters. Dark patterns refers generally to manipulative design in the user interface. Deceptive design covers the wider category, including architecture, algorithms, data pipelines, and business model. The iceberg metaphor captures the distinction. The visible pattern is only the tip. Beneath it sits a larger structure of design decisions that can manipulate without appearing as a familiar dark pattern. The chapter also includes important limitations. Labeling something a dark pattern does not automatically make it unlawful. Legal tests still matter. The chapter therefore asks readers to avoid equating moral condemnation with legal liability. Its purpose is to broaden the inquiry, to ask where manipulation occurs, which system layer produces it, and how law can examine that layer without collapsing every poor design choice into illegality. Chapter 1 therefore performs the book's foundational move. It shows that deceptive design can arise in data collection, profiling, automated decision making, and the user experience. It also explains why a systems-wide approach matters. The next lecture examines Chapter 2, which classifies the techniques and maps the harms they produce.